Sword of Convallaria's second anniversary is here, and whether you're a long-time player, someone who checked it out once and are now returning to see what's changed, or are brand new and eager to see what the fuss is about, there's something here for all of you. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman, and welcome back to the channel. Hello everyone, if you enjoy what I do, including my ongoing coverage of all things turn-based tactics, including the phenomenal Sword of Convallaria, then a like on this video and a subscription to the channel would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Also, huge shout out to developer XD behind Sword of Convallaria for sponsoring this video. It is always a pleasure to work with the folks behind the game. I very much appreciate their direct support. It helps keep the channel running, and I like to talk about this game anyway, so it's a win-win for everybody. As always though, do remember, even though this is a sponsored video, all thoughts and opinions in this are my own. I'm just here for the love of the game, and I wouldn't be doing this video if I didn't love it. So then, what are we talking about here today? Well, of course it is that second anniversary, and whether you're an enjoyer of classic story campaigns, online PvP, cooperative community events, or classic gacha team building, the 2-year anniversary of Sword of Convallaria is bringing the heat, and that makes it a great time to pick up where you left off. We're talking a brand new region to explore alongside new campaign missions to enjoy, a suite of new characters to interact with and recruit, and plenty of challenges that you would expect from any self-respecting tactics game. As always, we're going to go through all the major aspects of the update in depth, broken down into sections with chapter markings that you'll find in the play bar to help you find the info that you want. Starting off with the core content update, we need to talk about Lucia, the Frozen North, and the Sagas of Ice and Blood story update that you'll be able to find in the Spiral of Destinies. As with every major update to the game, we have a full new story chapter to go through with a suite of new characters and a development of the ongoing story of the game that takes place after the conclusion of the main story from the base game. In Lucia, which they've more Nordic, sort of Norse-inspired northern hinterland, you're going to find a frigid tribal land where only warrior scholars who wield blade and word in equal measure will survive, and you're going to find quite a few of them, as a matter of fact. A big facet of the story and the gameplay of Lucia is that harsh climate of the region. There's a lot of gameplay around frozen tiles, ice effects, the durability of the various different characters, both playable and enemies, and you're going to be fighting just as many beasts, and with just as many beasts on your side, as you will be fighting humanoid characters. This makes for a pretty interesting variation of the gameplay that we've experienced with Sword of Convallaria in the past, as there's actually a lot more that goes into damaging the characters that you're going to be fighting, as well as the durability of your own characters, than there has been in the past. Attacking things from the proper directions, being able to break armor and pierce wards, chip down enemy defenses, and get through their healing is going to be majorly important, and part of that is going to be using ice tiles to your advantage to push enemies around, keep them away from you to prevent counterattacks, or shove them into your allies so you can get some really fancy bonus combo attacks. Of course, as you would probably expect, there are also a lot of different characters and abilities that get benefits or ignore debuffs when they're on ice tiles, so being able to place them intelligently and strategically is going to be vital to success as you progress through any of the different modes that have been added to the game. Alongside these mechanical changes, something else that's very refreshing about this update is the fact that things are fairly separate from the larger Irian region that the players are probably familiar with. You're using a more dedicated, focused team native to the region who are directly tied into the story, and who as a result have much more synergy with the mechanics that are at play as well as each other, which makes for a very tight gameplay experience. This also means that the larger overarching storyline of the continent of Iria and the Sword of Convallaria and how everything has been going down there is relevant but not directly pertinent, so you get to learn a lot more about what's actually happening in Lucia, its story, its history, and how that has affected the characters. In particular, the fact that they all are able to transform into animal forms, or sort of like mixed humanoid animal forms, to have a new suite of abilities, new stats, and a lot more flexibility of gameplay mechanics. It can always get a little weird when you have like 1 or 2 characters that have that type of capability and it doesn't really mesh super well with other characters that you have available to you, but when you're going through the story and everyone has an aspect of that to them and it's not really weird to them in story and in lore, it can flow a lot more freely and just feel very natural, which makes for a very comfortable gameplay experience. That said, while the story is a little separate, and we have some new developments that we've not really seen before. The emphasis on the political nature and the infighting and discussion and musing of all these different characters and countries is still very much present, if that's something that you were expecting from a new story in Sword of Convallaria, which of course I always am. Very much still a thing, and I'm very happy to see that. In Lucia in particular, there's a major focus on the blood of the people who are involved in the story, whether they're nobles, commoners, directly has an impact on how much they're able to manifest their inner bestial power, and that's something that you'll see discussed a lot as we go through trials, rise to the ranks of the noble guard, and potentially garner the favor of the goddess herself to subvert some of the expectations, norms, and trappings of the country. In so doing, you're going to find yourself carrying the burden of actually swaying decisions in unexpected directions and figuring out how exactly it is that you can rise above what your birth and your ranking is to make a major impact on the land and hopefully guide it in a good direction alongside the rest of the continent. Now that's the story and the setting and a little bit of what you can expect mechanically, but what are some of the new gameplay challenges that you can expect here? Well, of course, beyond the new Spiral of Destinies chapter, there's also some challenges that go along with it, and these are aspects that will be permanently added to the game, so no fear of missing out on this. Once they're in, you'll get to experience them for yourself. But 1 week after the update, the Hunt on the Frozen Plains aspect of the story will be released, which kind of coincides with the way the actual timeline of the story is progressing, which is pretty cool. Hunt on the Frozen Plains is a new gameplay mode that requires you to have a lot of strategic insight into what exactly it is that you're going to be doing, as much as you're going to need just individually powerful units. In the Hunt on the Frozen Plains, you're going to have a variety of different challenges that you're going to have to take on, like multi-character wheel battles, a consecutive battle mode, a stage clear mode, and of course, putting it all together, a consecutive boss battle mode, which is always a fun time. To be able to take these challenges on, you're going to have to be able to target enemy weaknesses, utilize different types of armor and wards, both for yourself to protect yourself and also in how you're going to pierce them for the enemy, and deploy tools like traps that are going to be vital to your success. To encourage this, there's a major focus on having actual roster versatility and depth, not just single individual power units, as well as deep knowledge and careful study of the enemy abilities that you wind up encountering, so you're able to put together different teams that are able to handle all the different types of stages and challenges you're going to come across, and not just sweep through with your eyes closed, which of course, as a big fan of tactics and strategy, I always appreciate. It always gets boring when you just have one powerhouse character that you can rely on to carry you through all of the content in a game, no matter what type of content that it is, instead of actually being able to use, or really even being forced to use, all the different types of characters and skills and armaments that they bring to the battle to then find success in your own way. It's a delicate balance to strike, but I think that it's going to be a good one here, and I'm happy that this is something that the team is focusing on, instead of just having you build out one powerhouse sweeper. Now, I'll admit right out, I'm a pretty casual player of Sword of Convallaria. I dip in and out of it, as imagine many different people too. I'm not super in on the meta, but if you, like me, are that type of player, then there's going to be a lot of different rewards for the anniversary that make returning to the game very, very easy, no matter which aspect of it that you like to play. The new Spiral of Destinies chapter, Saga of Ice and Blood, as well as the Hunt on the Frozen Plains challenge mode are much easier to get into than you might initially expect, which is very nice, and if you do need some boosts to help bring you up to speed, there are a lot of new additions and rewards that have been brought into the game as well. There's a suite of new anniversary packs, login rewards, free pulls, an anniversary shop. If you're looking to summon particular characters in the gacha side of the game, you've got selectable double up, selectable hero makeup tickets, limited time selectable options, a lot of different things to get your hands on the characters and the weapons and other bits and bobs that you need for success. You really do get bombarded with a ton of new stuff the first time you boot the game back up, especially if it's been a little while since you played, and it makes it feel very easy to jump right back in and pick up where you left off. And of course, any good major update to anything includes general improvements for the health of the game, and this is no exception for Sword of Convallaria here. We've got nice new features like Expedition One-Tap Dispatch. Pioneer Challenge now has a sweep function to make going through it even faster than before. There's been optimizations made to memory shard overflow, and just other general improvements based on player feedback, which you gotta love and appreciate when a game listens to its community. Really, just from a pure content standpoint alone, let alone all of the additional stuff that you get for coming back to the game, Sword of Convallaria's second anniversary shows that the game is still going strong. I spoke recently about how the game is definitely still worth playing, even 2 years on, and with all of the new stuff that's coming with this update, I think that that's an even stronger statement than when I first made that video. With all the new content to support every type of player and every type of game mode, I still absolutely encourage anyone with a love of tactics RPGs to dive in and see exactly what Sword of Convallaria has to offer. I always enjoy when I pick it back up. It's always a good time, and I rediscover my love for it every time that I do decide to jump back in. That said, do let me know what your thoughts are about the game and this update in the comments once you've had the chance to check it out. Have you been playing since launch? You gonna come back with this update? I'd love to chat with all y'all about it, so let me know. For now, though, I'm going to wrap this one up here. My name has been Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman. I hope that you all have a good night. Stay safe and healthy out there, everybody. And remember, be good to each other, y'all. Bye now.